What is up, guys? Eric here with Team Eccentric. I know it's been quite some time since I've brought any content to this channel, but I figured with water getting a little bit of hype, considering that people are speculating some kind of hopefully Mermail or Atlantean support in the near future, I figured I would update my list after a few years. I've been playing the game, but I have not been posting. I just felt like you know, I just didn't really feel like putting effort into Yu-Gi-Oh like how I used to. But now I kind of feel like with some of the recent you know, cards that were released on the ban list, I figure this deck actually has a little bit more of a fighting chance. It's not going to get the absolute shit kicked out of it every time you use it. So why not post a profile and maybe you know, kind of give some life support to this channel and maybe try and see if we can get it restarted. So as we all know, water happens to be my favorite deck, you know, Atlantean Mermail particularly, and you know, we just got Tidal, Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls, off the ban list, and to be honest with you, the card does a lot for this deck. It definitely impacts the way you play the deck. It allows you to bridge a lot of lines into rank 7s, such as Mermail Abyss Gaius, which is mainly the one. Also, the one rank 7 we play, but also, like I was just about to say, it bridges your way into higher link climbing as well as better synchro plays. There's just a lot of different things you can do with the Dragon Ruler. So we're going to get right into the profile, and starting it off, obviously we have triple Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince. We all know what this card does. This is the heart and soul of the deck. It has an ignition effect that once per turn you can send one Atlantean from your deck to the graveyard to add one Atlantean from your deck to your hand. So namely, you send Atlantean Dragoons to add Atlantean Dragoons, and then those also get effects off of being sent for cost for a Water Monster's effect. Also, it has the effect that when it's sent to the graveyard to activate a Water Monster's effect, you can target one Atlantean in your graveyard and special summon it, so it's a pseudo monster reborn as well. We play triple Atlantean Dragoons. As I was just stating, this card is namely what you want to send off of the Neptibus. What it does is when it's sent to the graveyard to activate a Water Monster's effect, you can add a Sea Serpent. Also, it has kind of an irrelevant effect where if it's face up on the field and you have level 4 or level 3 or lower Sea Serpents, they can all attack directly. That effect never really comes up, but you know, it's nice to have. We also have 2 Heavy Infantry. When this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a Water Monster's effect, you can target one face-up card on the field mandatorily and destroy it. It also has the effect where if it's face-up on the field, you get an additional normal summon of a Sea Serpent. So, you know, there's a lot of toolboxing and versatility with this engine. Marksman would be an option, however, unfortunately, there's not a lot of face-down cards in the game right now, so Marksman really doesn't come up. The only time it would come up is if you're trying to perform that OTK with Megalo, Marksman, and Neptibus and all that, so we don't play Marksman, so that's our Atlantean engine. Next, just a Deep Sea package, triple Diva, obviously, best normal summon in the deck, as well as triple Minstrel to rip all those hand traps. Minstrel and Dragoons is literally like the best possible, you know, like 2-card combo in this deck. Like literally just wins games for you, not only based on the fact that, you know, you get to rip your opponent's hand traps, but you also get the hand knowledge, which allows you to kind of, you know, acclimate your board to whatever you see is in your opponent's hand. You know, you get to mitigate issues that would otherwise crack your field. So that is something that is really cool. Next, the Mermail component of the deck, which seems to get more and more streamlined every deck profile. So Mermail Abyss Teus, Megalo, Pike, Gund. So this is kind of the standard lineup for most people nowadays. 3 Teus, 1 Megalo, 1 Pike, 1 Gund. I used to swear by 3 Megalo, but to be honest with you, with Minstrel being in the deck, honestly, Megalo's lost a lot of value. It kind of steals its thunder in the sense that it is a 2-drop that allows you to put 2 water bodies in grave to facilitate Mooling Glacial plays and hand rips. However, the rest of the engine still seems pretty good, with Teus being a 1-drop, and then, you know, Pike and Gund being able to do really cool combos. So next we're getting into the, I would say, miscellaneous waters, quote unquote. We have 2 Ice Jade Ran Azurine. This card is nuts, to be quite honest with you. It is a level 7 tuner monster. In order to summon it, you can discard a water monster from your hand as cost, special summon it, and it's the same effect. You can also create a level 3 token. However, if you create, as long as you control that token, you can't special summon anything but water monsters. But it's also 1500 attack, which allows it to be a target for Marincess Coral Anemone. So there's a lot of lines that this card creates, and also, you know, it allows you to put 2 bodies on the board for Coral Anemone, all on its own. So it's pretty nuts. Then we obviously play the Mooling Glacier. Let's rip cards from our opponent's hands. That's always fun. My favorite card off the ban list, Tidal, Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls. This card is honestly nutty in this deck. Like it does a lot for this deck, both in the sense that it allows for extra deck climbing, whether you're Seize summoning, Synchro summoning, Link summoning, while also it allows you to manipulate your graveyard for Mooling Glace. And if you see it, it just does so much. It does so much because you can also Foolish, let's say like a Naptibus or something like that, and then summon it back off of Coral Anemone. There's just so much the card does for the deck. We also play 1 Lapis Dragon, that's kind of obligatory, and then 1 Stream Dragon Ruler of Droplets. This in tandem with Dragoons, or this in tandem with like a Naptibus while Dragoons is engraved, is just nuts. There's just so much, because then you get to summon this and then make a rank 7 out of it, or link climb with it and then bring it back, which just does crazy combos. So that is it for the main deck monsters aside from the non-engine. So our non-engine main deck monsters are triple Nibiru, triple Ash Blossom. I am playing quite a bit of non-engine. I feel that right now non-engine is very important to a deck's capability to go second. Without non-engine, you're not really going to do as well. You could play board breakers, but to be honest with you, I feel that hand traps are really kind of the way to go right now. Board breakers are good, but hand traps kind of limit your opponent's, kind of limit the interactions that your opponent can end on in their going first turn. So I feel that hand traps are just kind of the way to go right now. I mean, board breakers are still relevant, but I feel like they're better, relegated to the side deck. So then we have the main deck spells. We have 2 small worlds. 3 is too many, 2 is just enough, 1 is not enough. This card honestly gets you to any play you want as long as you draw a water monster. So, there's really no reason not to play it, in my opinion. I mean, I've tested other things like Pot of Avarice, I've tested Moray of Greed, I've tested the one spell card that's like Moray of Greed, but it banishes a fish, water, or a fish, aqua, or sea serpent, and you draw 2. I've tested all of this stuff. I've tested Pot of Prosperities, and those are actually decent as well. But to be honest with you, Small World just gets you to your pieces that you need as soon as possible with the least amount of investment. So, not only that, but it's not like you banish for cost. So if your opponent Ash Blossoms it and you have a playable hand, you can still function. So you can bait Ashes with this as well. Also, 1 Abyss Skill of the Mizuchi. Obligatory, we all know what this does. It negates things like Super Poly, negates things like Dark Ruler No More, Forbidden Droplet, because it doesn't respond to the card, it doesn't chain to the card that activates, it just negates on resolution. So, yeah, I mean, it's still a nuts card even to this day. I do see it less and less with summoning Megalo less and less on my opening turns. However, when I do see it, it's just nuts. For that, I do play 1 for 1, obviously obligatory, extra copy of Neptibus, Called by the Grave, obligatory. That's our spell lineup. And then last but not least is the last bit of non-engine is triple impermanence. Like I said, I do play a little bit more non-engine than I usually would consider in the past. Again, only because like non-engine is just so important right now. So that's it for the main deck. Now for the extra deck. We are playing 1 of my favorite Link monster in the game, World Sea Dragon Atlantis. This card is nuts. If anybody knows about the Marincess, or the Coral Anemone lock with Atlantis, essentially what it does is, you play Coral Anemone as well, by the way, and spoiler alert, I can't speak today. Marincess Coral Anemone, obviously we know that it's a reborn for a 1500 attack point or lower water monster to a zone that it points to. After you summon that water monster, you can't summon anything but water monsters for the remainder of the turn, which is where this comes in. What World Sea Dragons Atlantis does is you can banish all monsters on both players' fields and then summon them back. Now here's the thing, you're the one doing the summoning with the Atlantis' effect, so if your opponent's monsters are not water, you're the one summoning them back, so you banish all of them. So you use Coral Anemone, special summon something, use whatever you're summoning, use its effects, do your combo, whatever, and then you link the Coral Anemone and 2 monsters, or link a Coral Anemone and a link 2, whatever, into the Atlantis, use it, banish the whole field, bring only the water monsters back, and then you get basically a free board wipe that doesn't destroy and doesn't target. So it's pretty good. That's why we actually play 2 Coral Anemone, because generally speaking, 2 Coral Anemone doesn't sound like it would be great, but you have 1 for combo and 1 for crackback. After that, 1 Mermail Abyss Alacia. We all know what Alacia does. It's nuts. During your opponent's turn, you can discard a card from your hand, search a Mermail card. The 2 monsters that it points to gain 500 attack and defense. Also, if it's if it's destroyed by battle or card effect during your opponent's turn, you can, or if it's destroyed by your opponent's battle or card effect, you can send a water monster from your deck to the graveyard for cost to target a water monster in your grave and special summon it in defense position. So, it allows for some disruption if you have a heavy infantry in hand with this, which isn't too difficult to set up. And last but not least, a combo piece, an engine requirement in the extra deck, if you will, Bujinki Ashima. This card is honestly only useful in that regard. I've considered playing Gigantic Sprite again, but I don't really have a lot of level 2 monsters that are worth summoning straight from the deck, so this card just kind of is stuck in here, and it honestly acts as back row removal when you use Bahamut Shark, if you get to that point. So that's it for the links. For Xyz monsters, we play 1 Mermail Abyss Gaios. This card is so much easier to summon with Tidal being back, it's actually ridiculous. Also with the Ice Jade Ran Azurines, like this card is, I'd say about 75% of the time you summon this card in turn 1, as long as your combo goes uninterrupted, which with Minstrel it usually does. Also 1 Abyss Dweller. I can't wait for the reprint from the set that's coming out this weekend, Rarity Collection 2. I kind of want a Collector's Rare one. However, the Ultimate Rare is just as nice. We have Bahamut Shark and Toad. Only 1 copy of each. There's no need to play any more than that. So that's it for the Xyz monsters. And then last but not least, the Synchro monsters. There's a considerably heftier Synchro engine than I used to play. I prefer the Xyz variant of Mermail, just because I feel like it triggers Dragoons a lot more effectively. However, unfortunately, that's just not the route we're playing at the moment. The Synchro pool for Waters is just really strong right now, and here's one of them. So, Ice Jade Jaimir Azurine, this card is nuts. What this card does is, it has a quick effect that states, when you activate this effect, monsters you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects. If you responded to your opponent's card effect with this card, and your opponent controls any of those cards, either in their graveyard or on their field, you can banish it. So this card actually is really ridiculous. And also, if it's in the graveyard and a monster is banished, you can special summon it. So, the card recurs itself. It's a 3,000 body that does a lot. It does phenomenally against, decks that try to have spot removal. Also, we have 1 Ravenous Crocodragon Archithus. I originally wasn't playing this. I originally was playing another Synchro monster. However, I feel that this is really relevant because if you don't see a lot of different lines in your hand, if all you can get to is Diva and the Diva gets ashed and you can just summon like a Teus or something like that, you can get another level 7 on the board, or even Tidal, for example, you can Synchro into this, get a draw, and then if you still don't draw anything, at least you drew cards, so that way you can discard and disrupt your opponent's board that way. So I feel like this card is actually kind of relevant right now, only because of that. I also play 1 Adamantipator Risen Dragite. This card is easy to summon with some of the lines in this deck. Obviously, Spell Trap Negate, 3,000 body, really strong. 1 Deep Sea Prima Donna. This card is nuts. To be honest with you, there's 1 card that I'm playing in the side deck that I won't be showing you guys, but there's 1 card that I'm playing in the side deck that this card can summon straight from the deck. It's just nuts. What this card does is, you can target one of your opponent's banished cards, send it back to their hand, and then you can special summon a level 4 or lower water monster straight from your deck. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your opponent's banished cards and shuffle it back into the deck. And it's a level 7 tuner, so you can go into Dragite with it if you, say, summon an Activist or anything of that nature. You can Xyz summon into Gaios with it. There's just a lot of valuable lines of play that this card offers. And last but not least, 2 more engine requirements, aka combo pieces, Go-Yo Defenders, just so you can link climb into Bujinki Ashima. So that is it for the Mermail lineup, or I mean that is it for the Mermail deck profile rather. It's been quite some time, sorry about that. I do thoroughly enjoy the way this deck has been functioning. It's been doing rather well in testing. Very fun. The side deck I would profile, but I feel like that's better left to your local. So just you know, Tenpai Dragon is a thing, and you know, the Snake Eye Fire King deck is still a thing. So you know, just kind of cater your side deck to that. But yeah, so that is it. Eric here with Team Eccentric. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I know it's been quite some time, so you know, forgive us. We're getting back on it, or at least we're trying to. I'm gonna start trying to post deck profiles of other decks as well, and not just Mermail. I have like 10 other decks that I actually can profile now, so we will hopefully continue in that trend. So, thank you guys. Eric here with Team Eccentric, signing up.